Hello everybody, welcome into Talladega Superspeedway. We are getting geared up for the Blaster 120 tonight. I got a special guest with me in the booth, but before we get to our special guest, let's get right into your race info as these guys are getting gridded up. It is the PGR Money Racing Intimidator Superspeedway Series. We are at Talladega Superspeedway. Big 2.65 mile. There's going to be high speeds, a lot of bump drafting. Let's talk about the weather. 5 miles an hour wind, cloudy skies, 42% humidity, and the weather outside looks like 75 degrees. Track temp, very cool, not going to be an issue. And you see there in your race info box, it is the Blaster 120. And it is going to be the NASCAR Craftsman Series for 45 laps tonight at 50% fuel. Unlimited tires, one faster pair, and as always, fixed setups. Before we get into your starting grid, let me introduce our special guest, Road to Pro driver Matthew Baker. Matthew, how you doing today, man?
Oh, doing good, man. I'm excited to call this race with you. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and looks like we get a good field here to call the race.
Absolutely. Well, you just got done with the race, and now you're up here going to commentate the action that these guys are going to put on. So let's get right into your starting grid. Starting first tonight is going to be Steve Korsek for Dale Cup. Second, it's going to be his teammate Zachary Lima. Third, Sean Hill. Fourth, Brian Bassard. Good to see Brian back in here. Fifth is going to be Kenneth Stamper to his outside. It's going to be Danny Eshelman. Seventh, Curtis Rogers. Eighth, Josh Bonwell. John Ellis Jr. starts ninth with Mark Vondell to his outside in 10th.
Then 11th, we got Vicente Guerrero. And then 12th, we're going to have John Mollahan. Larry McDonald, number 80 machine. And rolling off P14, we got Jeremy Osborne. Jason Maines looking to be coming from the middle of the pack tonight. P15. Dare Sells, P16. We got Jeremy Wright here in P17. And we got Cole Wright here in P18. Michael Eden rolling off in P19. And Donnie Lyons rolling off in P20.
Moving back to 21st is going to be a Coca-Cola Series driver. That's Garrett Maines. He's got another Road to Pro driver, Daniel Everhart, to his outside in 22nd. Row 12 is going to be Dylan Jones. That's Daniel Everhart's teammate. 24th, Nash Grant Billa. 25th, Team 3's Chad Ross with Bill Miller to his outside in 26th. 27th, Ron Morris Jr. 28th, J.R. Miller. That is a Team PGR driver. And he's going to have his teammate behind him at 29th, Michael Triscaro, PGR owner and driver. 30th is going to be Nicholas Warner, and 31st, James Kaufman with Mike Davenport rounding out the last spot. 32nd, I'll tell you what, boy, that's a lot of drivers, and I said it earlier jokingly, but Baker, I don't know if that's because you came out here or what, but we got a huge field here for a Thursday night.
Oh, man, it's a big field. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think RTP ended right at time for all the heavy hitters to come out, and they didn't get to qualify, so watch them coming 3 wide almost immediately. No fast repair here, so I'll see how people are going to play it safe. We're going to look for Dale Cup to really control the start of the race here.
And I think there is a fast repair tonight. I may have forgot to include that in the race info, but there should be, from at least what I've heard from PGR. But I mean, yeah, either way, you don't want to have to use that fast repair early, right? And just real quick for everybody watching out there before we get into it, we are going to be doing an MRN-style broadcast, which you'll probably find out pretty shortly here. We will have Matthew Baker covering from start-finish to halfway down the back, and I will be covering halfway down the back to the start-finish. And let us know how the audio sounds, because still kind of working with some stuff. So if there's anything, if Baker sounds too quiet, I sound too loud, or the race audio sounds too loud, feel free to let us know. But Steve Korsek, what do you think, Baker? Can he get another win here?
I mean, he's dominant. He's been dominant in this PGR series. I haven't got to run many of them, but watching the broadcast, it's always him and Lima. And Neagles, who's not out here, are up front all the time. Look for Sean Hill to push him out clear here pretty soon.
All right, well, as the pace car is going to roll off for the first time, the 27 Steve Korsek has the field in tow. We will let you take us through the green.
Pace car is down. We're coming to the restart zone. I'm going to see Sean Hill going to start in the first gear here. He's going to look to push himself clear, try and split up the teammates early. Green flag is out. We are underway here at Talladega. Not a lot of organization on the top line. Looks like the bottom line is going to roll just like we talked about. Down into turn 1. First 2 cars going to get clear. Steve's going to hop up in front of his teammate. You knew that was going to happen. They're just going to ride around up top here. Eshelman's keeping his distance. He knows he doesn't have a fast repair in his pocket, so he's going to try and keep his distance here.
And halfway down the backstretch, the first time here at Talladega, Steve Korsek did jump right up to the high side, wasted no time getting in front of his Dale Cup teammate Zachary Lima. Sean Hill still continues to hold the bottom, and it looks like Korsek is going to try to jump back down. I've seen him and Sean Hill working together pretty good from time to time. I think the Dale Cup might have an alliance, at least with a couple of the McCall Motorsports drivers. But out of turn 4 for the first time, Steve Korsek still leading the way. Looks like Danny Eshelman and the 11, watch out. I couldn't tell who that is. I believe that might be that Brian Bassard up there as well. He's trying to get in the mix as we complete lap 1. It looks like it is going to go to Steve Korosek.
And Steve takes it down. He's got his teammates side by side. They're 2 by 2 all the way back about 7 rows here. Everyone else is kind of single filed out, kind of riding right now, saving fuel. We are 50% fuel, so you're going to look at fuel strategy to be played here. But again, down the back, side by side here.
And you just said it right. I mean, fuel strategy is going to be the name of the game tonight. Only 2 laps in, but I got to think that fuel window is going to be somewhere, if I had to guess. We'll say conservative here and say maybe 13 to 16 laps. Again, I could be a little off on that. But the question is here, do you pit early, and what are the differing strategies here? We'll have to find out. But off turn 4, Steve Korosek still in charge. It looked like further back, Mark Von Dell was thinking about 3 wide, but he's going to start blinking. That scares John Mullahan right off his back bumper. He's going to tuck back down low, takes Mark Von Dell 3 wide up top, and they still remain side by side up front.
Very calm right now. It's early in the race. No one wants to give a bad push here. Everyone wants to kind of stay even. Lima's going to keep controlling that top, you know, lifting, keeping the line where he wants it to keep Steve out front on the bottom and keep Hill trapped there on the bottom.
And I'll tell you what, we know, unlike some money racing leagues, there's just not really anybody going through wide. There's no through wide rule against it, but everybody seems to be conservative. Now we're going to look a little farther back here. We'll look more towards Ron Morris Jr., who is towards the back of this pack. Actually, let's go a couple more rows back to Dylan Jones, who looks like him and Garrett Maines are going to be those first truck single file. And I'll tell you what, I think this might be a little strategy, because don't get me wrong, if Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, if they want to go to the front, they're going to go to the front. I think this might be some fuel saving. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, they're going to have an alliance here with Ryko, with Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, and you got Ellis and Maines there. So those 5 cars are going to hang back, save some fuel, and as soon as those guys peel off up front, they're going to try and push the pace, get as much distance as they can before they come in for their green flag stops. But still up front, side by side, still 7 rows deep, and looking good. Field looks real good tonight.
They do, and it almost like it has that pace to it. You can normally tell when the field looks like they're kind of out of whack or they're in line, but I mean, you see it here. It looks like we got probably the top, I don't know, top 15, top 20 at most that are still double file. After that, it is single file the rest of the field, and the longer that line gets, the more urgency there is going to be to get to that bottom line. You do not want to be the only truck on the top of the field this big, because you will go all the way to the back. But Steve Korosek and Zachary Lima, the 2 Dale Cup teammates, continue to lead. Steve Korosek has just about led the way since we dropped the green. He did get the pole, and a lot of people wonder how these 2 keep getting the pole, but they have found something the rest of these guys haven't.
Oh man, I'd love to find out what they're doing. I need to sneak into session and watch them qualify, because I'm losing 300s on them every time. They're the best of the best, and they're proving it being up front here side by side. And as you look further back, you know, everyone's pacing. They're probably coking and joking, but you know, once you get within those fuel windows, either they're going to go top of 3. Daniel Eberhardt loves doing that, going top of 3 wide. As soon as the fuel window starts to open up, they try and gain as much time as they can and go right around the leaders here.
And you gotta make sure you pit with someone. The question is, who exactly do you pit with? We've seen guys try different strategies. I know if I was out there right now, I might be looking to pit with those 2 Dale Cup drivers, because they've continued to lead the way, and we've seen this race after race. But at the same time, if you're thinking about you don't want to be in this chaos up front, you could fall back, maybe try to pit with some of the pro drivers here, such as Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt. But up front, we still see plenty of 2x2.
Yeah, it's still 2x2. Looking at the Team 3 guys, you got Bonwell and Mullahan there all lined up top. They're not going to send it 3 wide, but they're real conservative. As soon as they see some pressure from behind, though, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to go to the top here. But still, Steve and Lima leading the way here.
Absolutely. We are already 6 laps through. It seems like it is flying, but we know PGR had been trying this thing where they've changed up the fuel strategy, and I know people want to battle here early, but it just, I don't know, I always thought if I was a driver in the middle of this pack, if I see some of the guys that I'm seeing back here single file right now, if nothing else, if I'm in that front pack, I'm thinking about saving, but up front, they still go at it. Looks like John Mullahan actually further back is up 5 spots from where he started making up a lot of ground.
And as we complete lap 6 going into lap 7, I'm looking at fuel probably around 14 or 15 laps. That's what I would call if I had Merc with me tonight running in this race. So I know that's what those guys back there are thinking about. And as soon as you see Jones start to hop up and push Maines, as I say that, here we go, 3 wide. They're hanging out. Lima, Team 3.
And that was a big power move. I almost didn't expect to see that. Who looks like John Mullahan, or one of the guys in front of him, almost scraped the wall, just as you saw right there. But yeah, they're a 3 wide. They're getting really dicey here early. They're going to see if the 27 Steve Corsick can get clear of Sean Hill, but it looks like Mark Vondell is going to come and be that third truck of support for that middle line. I'm a little surprised here. The bottom is really starting to fade. Both Dale Cup trucks are going to get clear. Oh, Mark Vondell gets turned through the tri-oval. Let's see if he can hold on to it.
Oh, what a save. Everyone avoiding him. Spun down in the infield, no carnage.
Caution is out. Wow, boy, that got close. I know that had to scare a couple people, but man, Mark Vondell, heck of a job there holding on to it, not getting into anybody, and we will go take a look at it as it looked like he blinked too when it came to a stop. Let's go see what happens here under caution. And it looks like we're in the tri-oval here. Actually, let's back this up a little bit farther here for everybody so you can see how this is going to start, and we'll go to the chopper view. And I think he's just trying to clear that is his teammate, and his teammate might have been trying to let him in line, but he just wasn't quite clear enough. Turns down, and once that left quarter panel gets to the right front of the 77, spins him around, and he takes a pretty wild slide here through the grass. Man, I thought he was going to come back up right there. Somehow keeps it down low. Everyone else gets around him.
Yeah, and it's always a bad thing whenever you spin your teammate out. It looks like he just cleared himself off the nose of the hill. You know, it's not intentional. He's just trying to get down in front of his teammate, ride that bottom line so the top line doesn't get the momentum. But top line looks strong there. Mullahan and Bonwell and Eshelman going around up top. They were giving the Dale Cup guys everything they could get.
Absolutely, and it almost had kind of surprised me because, you know, we're used to seeing maybe the roles reversed there. Lima and Korosek maybe being the ones to leave somebody out, but Eshelman probably told a couple guys behind him, said, hey, I'm going. If you guys want to go, let's go. If not, you can stay back there. They sure as heck went. And as we go back live here, it looks like we are going to see some pit stops. Korosek, Lima going to lead them in. They are currently your top two, with Eshelman third, Josh Bonwell fourth, and his teammate John Mullahan back in fifth. And it's good to see, I'll tell you what, it's good to see Bonwell back in the field tonight. Simcar, one of the owners of Simcar, but more importantly, just haven't seen Bonwell out here in a while, and he's always a good driver. And I know Mullahan was probably looking to see some of his teammates back, and he is going to get just that. A couple in the field tonight, including Chad Ross, who currently sits back in 24th, only up one spot from where he started. So a little bit slow out of the gate for some of the Team 3 drivers, but we do have a guy that stayed out. Bill Miller, what do you think about this, Baker?
I don't understand the call. I see everyone coming down, and if you don't have two cars that are going to come out there and stay with you, I don't really see the fuel strategy. But, you know, may work out for him, may get a quick caution. Everyone else is going to pit for fuel. He'll get that track position.
I was going to say, unless somehow we missed something, I mean, I don't think there's any way he would have pit and been this far out, even if he only took fuel. So I'm kind of assuming that he did stay out. We saw him towards the front, though. So maybe he pit and he just snuck by. I'm not sure. But either way, while these guys are under caution, we are going to take a quick break. But you won't miss a thing as we go. Ghost Racing Network side by side. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Talladega Superspeedway. Let's go over your top five here real quick, where Bill Miller, who is up a whopping 25 spots from where he started, is going to have Steve Korosek to his outside. The good news here is he is going to be splitting up those Dale Cup teammates, at least from what it looks like. Zachary Lima will be starting third, Danny Eshelman fourth, and Josh Bonwell rounding out the top five. I don't know, Baker, what are we thinking here on this restart? Is it go time, or do you still sit in the back and try to save some fuel?
Well, I'm looking at the Ryko guys. I'm looking at the mains bunch. They're coming down pit road again with 1 to go. They're going to be starting on the back. They may be riding around trying to save a little more fuel, but I do think it may be a fuel race at this point.
It might be, and what we're going to do here is actually let's check on some of these guys throughout the field. And I'll tell you what, this is going to add to that fuel talk because look at some of the guys that we are seeing in pit road right now. Looks like Daniel Everhart is down, Nicholas Warner, Larry McDonald, Michael Triscaro. I mean, a bunch of guys coming down the top off. Looks like Mark Vondell as well. Good news from Mark in that last caution was he didn't get any damage, so he's still able to run out here. Mike Davenport currently going in the wrong direction, down 18 spots from where he started. Or sorry, not Mike Davenport, Mark Vondell. Mike Davenport is up 5 spots. John Ellis Jr. down 17. But Jason Maines, Dylan Jones, that's a pair that if they want to go to the front, they will not hesitate to. They're also going to have Garrett Maines in front of them. I think they're all working together. Not too sure, but we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, you know that Jones and Everhart aren't going to lead each other. They may have a little alliance, but when it comes down to push and shove, it's going to be those 2 versus the 3. And it looked good in the Road to Pro race with Atlanta. Jones was pushing Maines there really, really well towards the end, and watch for that chemistry to come back.
All right, well, the pace car lights are off. That means we are going green this time. If you are just tuning in, you are watching the PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined tonight, of course, by the man that you just heard talking. That is Matthew Baker, Road to Pro driver for our MRN-style broadcast. Glad to have him here, and he is going to lead us back to green as the pace car gets ready to pull off.
Long file, single file back after about 10 rows of 2x2. Pace car is going to pull off here. Watch for Garrett to go high with his dad in tow and Jones. May be going, may not, but we'll see. Pace car's in here, and we're going to go back green with 35 to go. Green flag's back in the air. It looks like Danny gets a good jump. It's going to put the Dale Cup teammates side by side. Watch for Steve to drop down behind Lima here. He does that just as I say it. We're going to single file out and hang Danny out. And just as I say that, looks like Mollahan's going to give him a spot in line, and we're going to ride single file for a little bit. Sean Hill's the only car up top now for about 14 cars back.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead, Baker. I was going to say, I almost couldn't tell there for a second what the heck was happening as the whole field got single file. It looks like Bill Miller, I'm not sure if he had an issue or he wants to pit, I'm not sure, but you see he just fell off. That was your leader. And I was going to say he's probably feeling like a sitting duck. He's got 2 Dale Cup teammates who have better fuel strategy right now than him that we're going to go around, but he just straight left the track. That is going to leave it as only Sean Hill and Nash Brambilla on the top lane. They're not going to be able to make progress all the way to the front with only those 2 trucks, at least not for long, because we know the harder you have to push, the quicker those temps are going to go up. But Zachary Lima is going to lead your first lap back under green.
Yeah, I don't know if Bill Miller missed a shift. He looks like he's way off the pace, going about $1.67 coming to the line here. As we go back up front, looks like we're going to have Alex Hill getting pushed by Nash Brambilla on the top side, Dale Cup on the bottom, Steve pushing Lima, and Team 3 lined up right behind him. And don't look now, but Ron Morris coming up from the top with Jeremy Osborne.
You know, I was just going to note how Ron Morris Jr. and Jeremy Osborne are making that progress, and what amazes me even more here is I just noted that they shouldn't be able to get to the front with those 2 trucks, but they're continuing to fight. Problem is, they can only fight for so long, and Nash Brambilla right now is just hoping he can get some help from behind, so he doesn't have to push quite as hard. And Zachary Lima, Steve Korsek, they're looking very comfortable. 2 of the guys that probably know how to manage their temps best, and you see the speeds there on the bottom right, 185. And at the end of the straights, they'll probably get close to 190, but those speeds are only going to pick up as the night goes on.
2x2, about 3 rows back, and it's single filed out. You know, I don't understand I understand the field strategy of riding around and saving, but these guys haven't pushed each other at all. They didn't get in the practice session. Only one of them got to qualify. So when push comes to shove, it's going to be if you have a good connection or not coming down to it. And let's hope they got a good connection when they get up front, because you know the mains bunch is going to be coming anytime soon.
Absolutely, and man, it's just, I know we like the, I know as a driver at least, I feel like you like the fuel strategy because it gives you a chance to pull away from this chaos and maybe make the money just between you and your teammates. But up here broadcasted, we always like to see these guys get 2 or 3 wide, but I think I got to settle off for it now, because later I'm telling you we're going to see 3, potentially even 4 wide, as I do believe this is the biggest field PGR has seen since it started. And right now Zachary Lima continues to lead it, but Sean Hill trying to creep up and drop down low if he can get clear.
Side by side, looks like Nash is going to give a good push here to Sean. They're going to push even coming through 1 and 2, and out of 2 looks like Hill's going to have the run. They're organized up top, but those Dale Cup boys know how to push on the bottom, and they'll keep pushing for everything they got. They're not going to hang each other out. It looks like Hill is going to get clear. Oh, he gets hung out 3 wide. Looks like Nash is going to file out. Ron's going to leave out Nash, and Nash is hung out to dry.
Oh, man, well, Nash played it, I wouldn't say perfectly, because I don't think he meant to get himself in that position, but that's the perks of having a teammate. You saw Sean Hill, he made a bad move, didn't get clear. He was split. I'm telling you, he was going to the back. Luckily for him, he had his teammate Ron Morris Jr. behind, and this might work out better as he is going to try to push Steve Corset clear in the tribal. Steve is borderline clear of Lima here, and if he gets it, he is going to take it. Sure enough, Steve Corset leads lap 15 here at Talladega.
And I thought maybe they were going to control both lines, but it looks like they're more comfortable pushing. It's just 2 of them tonight, so they're just going to roll around on the bottom. Looks like Nash is stuck up 3 wide. He's going to try and file in line, get back to 2 wide, and we'll calm it down here for a little bit. That was a little crazy lap there.
And let's go check out how the rest of the field is doing here while they stay 2 by 2. So I want to go back, all the way back, Baker, and we can work our way up, starting here with Bill Miller. Looks like in last. Yeah, just not sure what happened to Bill here. Looked like he had a pretty strong truck, but I mean, you see he's running at 168. In fact, hold on, I want to pause before we continue here and go on the cockpit view. I mean, yeah, his RPMs are way down. He's not even running at 7,000 or even close to it, really. So I'm not sure what's going on with Bill Miller. 31st is going to be Michael Eden, and he is not with the pack right now. Actually, he is. He's just on the end of the pack, it looks like, or at least on a pack. But I'll take it back to you here, Baker, as I try to sort this out.
We got Mark Vondell running in P30, and then you got Nicholas Warner running in P29. Back to Michael Triscara. Looks like he's trying to work something with his teammates with fuel strategy. He's going to try and stay with these mains guys, do whatever they do. I found that it's a good strategy when I was running with it. Before I was running with them is to mirror my fuel strategy off of what they do, either a lap or 2. Vicente Guerrero is also a Dale Cup teammate. Forgot about him. He's way in the back. He's just riding around. He doesn't like to be up front till about 10 laps to go, but once he's up there, man, he's a great pusher.
Absolutely. Go ahead. I was going to say, all these Dale Cup guys are really great pushers, sure enough. And here we go. Pit stops underway. Let's see how they all execute. It looks like the first round is going to be good. This is going to be all Team 3. It looks like here. Maybe a couple. Nope, just Team 3. Wow, sure enough. So nicely executed. It looks like Josh Bonwell is going to lead him in.
Steve Corsek's taking the lead. He's got Hill pushing him. The Dale Cup teammates are split up. Ron's going to look for a spot to the bottom here. I could see pit stops coming soon, but don't look for the mains to pit until that fuel window is almost completely dry, because they're going to try and put time on as soon as that happens. As soon as I say that, look at them. They're coming up top. They're going to start pushing their way forward.
Well, that's what we've seen some of these more professional drivers in here, if you will, I guess. The Road to Pro and Garrett Maines, of course, Coca-Cola Series guys. They do this, right? We see them sit back. They'll save the fuel. However, they are not content to pit back there because they know how much time they're going to lose. So what they'll do is they'll link up right here, which is exactly what they're doing. It looks like they are pushing the 21 right here. And actually, it's 21 here. Trying to figure out who this is. That's John Ellis Jr., sure enough, rocking a different paint scheme than we're used to seeing. But they're going to go as far as they can to the front. Wouldn't even be surprised if they take Ron Morris Jr. and Jeremy Osborne 3 wide. And as soon as they take the lead, they will try to be the next ones down pit road.
I think you're exactly right. That pretty black and gold John Ellis 21 machine looking really good. All the Ryco. Oh, as I say that, Garrett Maines hangs out Ellis. He gets in line at the bottom. He's trying to get as close to the Dale Cup boys as he can.
Well, you know, that might be part of the reason he got down. Maybe they're pitting a little bit earlier than they were initially thinking they could, and they were just trying to see how many spots they could get up. Ron Morris Jr., man, he had to squeeze in right there at the last second to make sure he could get down, and I thought maybe we'd see a couple more guys pit here by now. But I want to give a shout out to this guy right here, Cole Wright. I could be wrong, but I don't think he has any teammates in the field. Here he is, up 10 spots from where he started, running right in the middle of a lot of these guys.
Yeah, the lone wolf strategy is a lot of fun. I love running by myself sometimes, but you always need those teammates at the end. And you don't have teammates, you build those relationships through these 45 laps, and that's what he's trying to do up front here. But we're single filed out all the way back. Look for pit stops coming right about now.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick before, actually, maybe we'll hold it up here, Lap. I was going to say just a quick check-in on this field behind. And actually, I just put the track map away, but taking another look at it, you see the distance between them right now. The good news here is it looks like they are closing. Oh, actually, that's on the back bumper of Michael Eden, who has fallen off the main pack. So we'll have to wait until after pit stops to see here which strategy prevails and who is going to catch and who makes the most ground. Here we go. We see another round of pit stops. It is going to be the mains, followed by quite a few of these guys. And can everybody get in clean? They do as they come in 4 and 5 wide.
Great job on pit stops there. You're going to be looking for the Dale Cup boys to be pushing the pace. That broke up the lead pack into 2 separate packs. So Vicente is going to get hung out to dry with the PGR guys. So look for them to fall off the pace a little bit. I would expect the Dale Cup boys to be coming this lap with Nash and Toe and everyone else.
And Kenneth Stamper's down here. That's another one of those drivers. I don't believe he has any teammates in the field. Is Garrett Maines. Jason Maines going to lead him off. And my favorite camera here, watch as we are going to look for those Team 3 drivers to come roaring through. They should be entering the tribal. There they are. And I think their strategy might work out. It looks like they are going to be able to tag on to the back of this pack and stay with the leaders here.
You're exactly right. Looks like Maines and company is coming off pit road right now. They're going to be up to speed, and it doesn't look like the leaders pit either. They're trying to gain as much time as possible on the guys who pit, so watch for them to stay out as long as they can.
I always like these differing strategies because it seems to make things the most interesting, but Steve Korsak continues to lead for Dale Cup with his teammate Zachary Lima behind him, and those two maybe work as the best one unit, if you will, as I call them. It seems like wherever one of them goes, the other one goes, and somehow they always find each other no matter where they run in the pack. And further back, looks like we do see a second pack being led right now by Mike Davenport. Nope, Vicente Guerrero is the driver that it looks like is leading it. Cole Wright, the last truck on the back of the other pack. But J.R. Miller here is going to try to drop down right in front with his teammate in the 55, Mike Davenport. They'll try to get right down in front of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. And I got to think they're thinking about pitting sooner or later here as we do see the leaders coming down pit road.
And they're going to get into their box. Well, a little hot on Eddie Hawks there, but looks like they all get in.
Oh, we got a spinner. Sorry to interrupt you there. Jeremy Osborne in the back. Looks like he did spin on pit road, no caution, but that is really going to hurt his strategy. Go to him there. He gets it spun back around, but he did hit that inside wall. It's going to give him some damage.
And if you look back into the second pack, they're 3 wide with the mains boys. Back to 2 wide now. It looks like they're going to the apron. They're back to 2 wide. As Jason's giving a good push to Garrett, and Eberhardt's getting pushed by Ellis. Those 5 are running really well together.
And yeah, I mean, no surprise there to see these guys get out in front. Whether it be racing their way to the front or strategizing their way to the front, we are used to seeing them up front here at Talladega and Daytona. But with only 24 laps to go, these guys are still going to have to pit one more time. But I think at this point, now it maybe is time to go to the front so that on that final pit stop, you can be as close to the front as possible.
Definitely, you see the 5-car pack that's still yet to pit. It's a good pack. 5 cars, you can make a ton of time with 5 cars. You can be faster than the whole pack with 5 cars. As J.R. Miller is leading his PGR teammates and Vicente.
And we will go through top 5 real quick before we go back to the action further back. It is going to be J.R. Miller leading the way right now, but pit stops have not fully cycled out. That does put him up 27 positions from where he started. In fact, all these guys in the top 5 way up from where they started. Mike Davenport up 30 spots from where he started. Michael Triscaro up 26. Nicholas Warner also up 26 in 4th. And Vicente Guerrero up 6 spots rounding out the top 5.
And then back in P6, you're going to have Garrett Maines pushed by his father, Jason. And you got Eberhardt and Jones side by side with Ellis pushing Eberhardt up top. And the rest of the field in tow. Look for them to take over the lead whenever those leaders come in. They've executed the fuel strategy and the pit strategy perfectly.
And I'll tell you what, you got to maybe think some of these guys aren't quite as comfortable on fuel as maybe we're thinking right now, because this line still single file surprises me. I mean, we got 2 of the Dale Cup drivers who have been up front all day. You know that they don't want to be back there if they don't have to be. And with only Daniel Eberhard and John Ellis Jr. out there, you see no matter what they try, they really can't get clear of that father-son duo, Jason Maines and Garrett Maines.
And I'm watching the speeds of the front 5. They're running pretty slow. I think they're trying to save some fuel here. I don't know what kind of strategy they're trying to pull. Maybe stay out as long as they can, gain the track position, take the fuel for the green-white checkers. But they're going to maintain up front as long as they can.
We'll ride on board here real quick. One of these guys in this pack. In fact, let's ride on board here with Jason Maines, who is pushing Garrett. But you hear by not being that lead truck, he doesn't have to stay on the throttle at all times. As he sees Daniel Eberhard start to creep up beside the door of Garrett, that's when he really starts to push. But I mean, down the backstretch, these speeds aren't as impressive as what we can see. I mean, 187, 188 is fast, don't get me wrong, but we can see these guys go a lot faster. Meanwhile, up front real quick, looks like they are going really, really slow up here. You got to wonder if this is a strategy.
They're saving a ton of fuel up here. They're going 174, and they're giving each other about a car length to half a car width in between each other so they can save as much fuel as possible.
And I mean, man, I don't really see the strategy play here. You know, if somehow they were able to save enough fuel where they only had to pit one more time as well with the leaders, but I don't think that's the case. I just don't see any way they can save that much. So I don't know that I necessarily like this call from the PGR boys, but they are going to pit right here, so they might be having to throw that strategy out the window. So I think they're going to come out way behind the rest of the field right here.
Oh, they definitely come out way behind, but they all get into their pit box as well. They're going to come out and get together and try and run down this lead pack, who's going to have about 2 wide as soon as they take the lead over.
And we will wait a couple more laps to do the crank it up segment because I was just about to start it. But up front now, after this pit cycle, in fact, we'll show you that camera angle again. Here comes the pack roaring through, and I mean, you see these other guys not even left pit road yet, so they have no chance. They're not even going to be able to stay in the draft. And that's the important part here, Baker. I mean, tell us just about how much that draft does when you're behind it and how much more speed you can run in it.
Oh, you're gaining at least 10 mile an hour, if not 15 mile an hour, as soon as you latch on within a second, and you got someone pushing behind you. It drafts everything here, and you know, they may be looking for a one stop. They may try and make it to the end here, but I really don't see them saving 3 laps and making it all the way.
You saw they just put Jeremy Osborne a lap down. Jeremy was up here running with the general lead pack, but unfortunately spun during his pit stop, which you hate to see, because I'll tell you what, Jeremy looked like he executed all of it pretty good, and it was really good to see Jeremy up here running good tonight. But a couple things to note real quick. Sean Hill is off the track. Must have had some technical difficulties. Michael Eden back here in 31st. He is also running by himself, not on the lead lap.
Well, don't look now. Chad Ross is back with his teammates, and I say it time and time again, I think he's the best out of the Team 3 guys. He's calm, cool, collected, runs everyone clean, pushes well, one of the best pushers in the game. Even if his I rating's low, it doesn't matter in these super speedways. He's been doing this for a long, long time. He really knows how to run these super speedway tracks. So you get those lined up with Eshelman, who they were helping out before, they're going to the front.
Well, there is a reason that Chad Ross is the leader of Team 3, and Baker just told you why right there. Looks like we are going to see 4 trucks on the outside. This might be just what Everhart and Ellis need, and that is going to be, looks like Jeremy Osborne. I was trying to check Ashburn. Bill Shernoff is still on the lead lap. He's having a heck of a run up here. Another driver that doesn't have any teammates in the field tonight, but making it work. He is going to have to be careful, though, because once this next pit stop comes up, he wants to be on the bottom for it, not up front.
Yeah, Nash is another one of those good guys. Love running with him. He's a good car to have around you whenever you don't have your teammates around you. You know he's going to push you well, and you know you can push him well. He'll hold a good wheel. But this is exactly what these Ryko boys up front want to see, is 2x2.
And we will run through your top 5 real quick. Garrett Maines still sits out in first, and it is going to be Jason Maines right now second, Daniel Eberhardt third, fighting for that second spot. John Ellis Jr. fourth, and Dylan Jones rounding out the top 5. Boy, he is up 18 spots from where he started. Actually, I keep saying it, but every single one of these guys in the top 5, it looks like is up 10 or more spots from where they started, excluding John Ellis Jr., who did start closer to the front.
Yeah, and like we talked about, qualifying matters whenever you have 10 cars that know what they're doing up front, but when it's just 4 or 5 cars, you can start in the back and pick your way through, especially when you have the talent of Garrett and Daniel, and they love going top of 3, top of 4, and pushing right around you.
And we are starting to slowly creep in now to that fuel window here with 17 laps to go. Who is going to pit first? And, I mean, do these guys all pit together? I'll tell you what, I believe it's a top 5 payout tonight. Maybe top 6. In fact, I'll check on that in just a minute. But even if that was the case, we got a lot of trucks running this lead pack, and not all of them are going to be going home with some money. And it looks like right now the back of the pack is still going to be those 2 Dale Cup teammates of Zachary Lima and Steve Korsek. Leading this second pack back here, which we haven't talked about, is Brian Bassard in the 22, and he leads quite a few of them actually, but they are all single file. Whereas up front here, Garrett Maines continues to ride 2x2 with Daniel Eberhardt, John Ellis Jr., and Jeremy Osborne. And diving down into turn 1, it seems like maybe we lost Baker for just a second. Garrett Maines still leads the way. Daniel Eberhardt up top. Jason's still pushing, and man, I'll tell you what, Daniel has really stayed committed here. I thought maybe after a certain amount of time he would just say, all right, maybe we'll back it down and try it again here, but he continues to fight and fight. But Garrett Maines and Jason Maines, they are just locked on, managing temps nicely as Jason Maines, and they are coming up on Michael Eden to put him another lap down, would make him 3 laps down.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the speeds of the second pack here. It looks like they're saving a little more fuel than what we were thinking, so they may be able to make this one stop work. I don't know. I think the back 4 are going to be the only ones that really have a shot for it, because they're not going to run down that second pack if the front pack pits first.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't mind seeing fuel strategy, especially when it comes to pit stops. What I'm not a huge fan of seeing is making it, or, you know, like when the race comes down to just who had the most fuel at the end. So I'm kind of hoping that that's not the case, and I really like what this pack is doing here, and that is running it out as hard as they can and just waiting to get to this next pit stop. And you can tell they're not saving fuel because you got some of the guys that were saving earlier, such as Garrett Maines and Daniel Eberhardt up here leading the way. And it looks like Nash Brambilla has fallen to the back of this pack. And actually, I meant to mention that would make it 14 trucks on the lead pack, so 9 or 10 of these guys probably going home empty-handed.
Yeah, and you know, that late race caution is coming. It's just when is it going to happen? You know the Gale Cup boys are going to get aggressive. They're going to go top of 3. They love doing that. As I say that, it looks like Team 3's looking for the pits. All 5 of them come down right now.
Can they all get in clean? It looks like they do. Strategy worked out for them last time. The only downside of it was it seemed to put them in the back, but maybe this time they'll get a little more aggressive. Maybe they just wanted to save fuel so that they take a little bit less right here. But it looks like Josh Bonwell does have the closest box to the front, gives him the advantage with Danny Eshelman second, John Mullahan third. Going back up front now, when will we see the rest of these guys pit? They have single filed out, and this would be a good chance to really crank up the speed. We'll have to see what they decide to do here.
Yeah, and it worked out for the Team 3 guys. They were side by side all the way through 1 and 2, so that definitely helped out that second pack that's going to be coming off the pit road. They may gain a little bit of time on them when they come out of the pits.
Another thing to note here, which we didn't note, is it is dynamic weather here tonight, and you can see it there on the little right side. The wind is changing slightly in speed and direction. Track temp has cooled off just ever so slightly. And the temperature outside has also cooled off ever so slightly. It continues to get a little bit darker here at Talladega, but not by much as Garrett Maines continues to lead into turn 1. But everybody being single file, this is a good chance if you're further back in this pack, unless you are going to be pitting on the next lap or 2. Right here, I'm just riding. I am not worried about going to the front. I know we got another pit stop, and I know some guys say, well, what's the point of saving fuel if you're all going to make it anyway? Well, if you take a little bit less fuel than that guy in front of you, you can maybe jump him on pit road, make a couple spots. And all the backfire that we are seeing out of the pipes from some of these drivers that are further back in the pack, that is them letting off, not full throttling it. And there is a gap between Kenneth Stamper and Dylan Jones, and that could maybe signify a pitting, but it looks like no, they continue to stay out.
And you talked about the shade that gets the bottom line to roll, and once they get side by side, that bottom line is going to be dominant, and tires aren't going to be too big of a factor, but that bottom line is going to come into play when it comes down to the end of the race here.
And with as few laps as there is to go, only 12, 11 next time, you can't be thinking about tires on this next stop. I gotta think, right, Baker?
I maybe left sides if you take enough fuel, but no, I don't really see a right side takes at all or anything like that. But it looks like Team 3 got split up on the pit stops. Only 3 of them hooked together, and they're trying to get their other 2 back up there as well.
That is not good, because if they have to waste any time doing that, that is just going to cost them more. It looks like Nicholas Warner, who actually, this will work out nicely here with Nicholas Warner being right kind of in the middle here of the Team 3, and he may have been working with Team 3 tonight. He's Team PGR, so that's actually a new addition. Let's give that a quick shout out. Nicholas Warner is a new Team PGR addition, but he's going to help them draft back up there a lot quicker than it would have been.
Looks like the leaders are down on pit road. Garrett Maines and Bunch all down. That entire lead pack came out, and Osborne as well. They all get into their pit stall as well. They're going to come out pretty far ahead, I think.
And I mean, no surprise, right, to see these guys not make a mistake. That's why they're up there in the front. Anyway, now the question is, will this strategy that we are seeing Team PGR try here work out? And I think their goal at this point, you got to assume, right, is to make it the rest of the way on fuel. But if not, I think they just got to stay out and hope for a caution.
That's all I think they're going to try and do, is try and stay out for that caution. And as you can see him coming up to speed now, Garrett's going to be pushing Lima, and you have Eberhard on the back bumper. Steve's trying to get latched on. Looks like Team 3 did well, though. Even though they got broken up, they maintained pace. So they're going to be up here.
They are, and this is that kind of, I don't know what the word you'd want to use for it, but it's pretty cool seeing all these guys kind of link up, because this is almost your best chance to make a move, right? You got the most momentum you're going to get all night, and this is where you'll see a lot of potential blocks thrown and whatnot. But with just about 10 laps to go once you cross the line this time, how about a little PGR? Crank it up. Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. Get back to Baker here for the call.
And it looks like you got Lima pushing Garrett Maines on the bottom side. Steve's in tow with Lima, with Nash with that great run. And then you've got the Ryko 1 through 4 leading the top lane, and then all of Team 3 rounding out the tail end, but watch for them to go up 3 wide. They're going to be going pretty soon here.
And a little surprise here. Looks like most of the trucks are on the top lane. Oh, Michael Eden's in the wall. He's got to try to keep it up there. Looks like he does. Oh, man, he's still in the wall off of turn 4. Trying to stay out of the way of the leaders, but damaging that 18 truck. Not going to help his race out much at all up front. Garrett Maines, Daniel Eberhardt still side by side. Now we're going to see a third lane. Here comes Joshua Bonwell.
Just like we talked about, they're looking 3 wide. Ellis is hanging out. His teammate, Eberhard, I didn't really see that coming. Maybe they're just trying to control all 3 lines. They're 3 wide for 1 row back. They look like they're trying to get organized up top, but nothing's happening. Looks like Garrett Maines is going to lead that bottom strong with Lima and Korsak pushing.
And this is the racing we all came to see. Looks like the 3 wide is going to fade out pretty quick, just as quick as it started. But Team 3's not giving up. They really need Chad Ross, Danny Eshelman, and James Kaufman to get up there to help them. But they got to be careful here. We've seen this time and time again where one of these teammates of Jason Maines or Dylan Jones potentially are going to try to hop up to that third lane. And once it gets clogged up with 3 teammates up front, good luck trying to get around them unless you want to be the guy that takes it 4 wide. But I don't know if we'll see that tonight. Haven't really had that feel.
Yeah, what I saw there whenever he went up to the top of 3 is they were just trying to stall momentum, and he was going to get back in line on the bottom. Everyone was going to try and roll to the top 3, and then Ellis could push that line back and get in line on the bottom.
It's almost tempting. I'm a little surprised here, actually, that, I mean, I guess not really. We know that it's a top 5 payout at least, but the Dale Cup guys, they have 2 of them, and you got to wonder, maybe does Garrett Maines feel like a sitting duck right here? If Eberhard leaves it open at all in the middle, you got to wonder if they're thinking about taking it. What about Jason Maines here? Is he thinking about doing the 3 wide move? And if he does, would Dylan Jones go with him? As we see Josh Bonwell, he does hop out further back in line with 7 laps to go. But it looks like this time John Mullihan isn't going to go. Nick Warner, Nick Warner got really out of shape. He held on to it. He's going to dip back down 2 by 2. He is not on the lead lap. That is important to note.
And as you look at Ellis looking top of 3, looks like Mullihan's going to play his football. They look like they're wrecking. Nash is spinning to the apron. They're going to gather it up. It looks like Ellis is back to top of 3. We're going to get back to 2 wide and roll it out.
Oh, and I do apologize here. Actually, Nick Warner is on the lead lap. Sure enough, I saw them. I thought they were catching, but I forgot he was actually, that car was playing. Oh, man, John Mullihan, pretty bad damage. That's going to end his night unless he gets a caution. Right now, he is hoping for these guys to wreck. Let's look further back real quick before we keep it up front the rest of the way, because this second pack is kind of dicing up a little bit as well. Looks like it is being led right now by Vicente Guerrero and Jeremy Bailey. Larry McDonald pushing that. Looks like the 11 is that Brian Bassard potentially as well in here. He looks like he wants to get in on the action on the bottom in the 11. The 78 J.R. Miller, that 3rd truck in line for Team PGR. Let's go back up front.
There's nowhere to go really for Team 3. They don't have the numbers that these guys do up front, and the Dale boys are going to be content pushing on the bottom until it comes down to push and shove with 2 to go or 1 to go. as they come up on a lap car here. He's going to go high here. That's going to stall the third lane. They're going to get back in line, and looks like Jason's giving a good push. The only thing that I would be cognizant of as they come up on the lap car, get around them, for Jason is manage your temps on the top lane, because if you run out of temps, as I say that, Danny Eberhardt clears down in front of Garrett.
And will this shuffle some things up potentially? I don't believe Daniel Eberhardt and Garrett Maines are teammates. Like you were saying earlier, maybe an alliance going on tonight, but as with only what's going to be 4 laps to go here, I think it's go time no matter where you are, and I still think we're going to see that third lane as it looks like Chad Ross and Josh Bonwell continue to try to build up a run.
Yeah, in a perfect position here for Eberhardt and Jones. I think Jones will lay off Jason if it comes down to push and shove. Yeah, they have the alliance, but I think when it comes down to it, it's father and son versus the 2 team drivers, and then Ellis is going to be your wild card. And don't look now, but those Dale Cup boys are going to be looking for any opening towards the middle.
And you just read my mind with that, especially since now they are no longer the pusher and the third truck. I always felt like if you are either the pusher or that third truck, you're in an okay spot, because you can either be the guy pushing, which is always fun, or you can be the guy, if the other guy gets clear, then you would become the pusher. But once you become that 4th truck in line, such as Steve Korsak, I feel like you got to be thinking about if you can go somewhere else on the track. John Ellis Jr., I don't know if I see him jumping out of line here, so I think it's going to be up to Steve Korsak and Lima. And just as I say that, he's going to prove me wrong as he jumps up top. Oh, they're going to hang him out, though.
And as they're coming up on a lap car here, it looks like Ellis is going to stay top of 3. It looks like they're going to try and go 4 wide here. He's going to get all the way up to the wall. Let's see if they can make it work here. It's only 1 car. If he can get up out of Ellis's way, and he does. Great job by the lap car there as they come down the back.
Boy, that made my heart race just for a second. But one more look here at the track map. Look how spread out these guys are right now. Everybody just kind of lost each other here over the pit cycles. That's why we like to see them so much. But good to see. It looked like we have more trucks this week than what we're used to seeing up here at the end, which means a lot more guys made sure they did their homework over the week, got better at pitting, and made sure they knew who they wanted to pit with. And right now, your money positions as it runs: Daniel Eberhardt 1st, Jason Maines 2nd, Garrett Maines 3rd, Dylan Jones 4th, Zachary Lima 5th, and Chad Ross looking around to see if he can get himself inside the top 5 and 6.
As we're coming up on 2 laps to go, Eberhardt's leading the bottom with Garrett. You've got Lima pushing Garrett with Steve on the bottom. Look for them to maybe follow the line. They're kind of trapped on the bottom here. As you see, Chad's getting back for his run. He's going to try and go with Bonwell, but as soon as that happens, watch for Ellis to jump in the middle to support that middle line.
Yeah, especially because since they left him out of line the first time they tried, he's got to be saying, hey, I don't want to help you guys if you don't want to help me. And the problem with that is all this is going to do is continue to stall out that 2nd and 3rd lane. And at this point, I think if you're Daniel Eberhardt, you have this thing all but wrapped up, especially if they continue to go 3 wide like this, because we've seen Jason Maines get up to that 2nd car of Garrett Maines. But you know what? I'll tell you what here. We might see Garrett Maines think about if him and Jason could coordinate something here. If Garrett can jump up top, he would easily think about leaving the 90 here where his dad could maybe push him to a win if they get the chance for it.
And white flag is in the air. It looks like we're 3 wide. Chad's got a good push on the top side. They're going to be even coming down back. That's not what Jason wants to see, but Garrett is pushing the crap out of Daniel. He may get clear up here, but he's not going to. He's got a fender. Oh, he look for it. Look for it here. He may get clear.
Oh, and it looks like Jason's maybe trying to back off the line a little bit. Here we go. Can Garrett Maines get clear? Boy, Lima is pushing him. But actually, no, Jason is not going to let that. He shuts the door on any chance for the 31 to get clear. And Dylan Jones is going to push him. This might be a side-by-side battle. Can Garrett Maines hold Daniel Eberhardt out in front? Does Dylan Jones have enough temp left to put the 31 in charge? Here we go. Off turn 4 now. John Ellis Jr. He looks to jump high. They're going to go 4 wide further back into the tribal for the final time. Daniel Eberhardt, Jason Maines there side by side. Here we go at the line. It is going to be a photo finish, but Daniel Eberhardt's going to steal it.
Wow, what a finish. Great call.
Great race, boys. And Eberhardt, once he got out in front, he didn't look back. Boy, I'll tell you what, the outside lane surprised me there, though, on the last lap. Didn't look like they were able to get it organized for a while, but at the end, when it mattered, they did.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little more down the back, but Eberhardt pulls it off. Great push from Garrett, as always, and looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ryko finish.
And it looks like the 2 Dale Cup drivers finished 6 and 7, just outside of the top 5. But overall, I mean, 1 caution, it was for a single spinner. I think that might be a new thing. I don't know the last time we've seen that, especially with a field this big. So maybe there's something to these fuel races. Is Daniel Eberhardt now going to come through the drive? We'll see if he does his famous burnout where he just floors it through the grass, but maybe not here. He might be doing a burnout with a couple of these guys that won it with him.
Looks like the top 5 are going to burn it down. They finished all on the money, and they're going to split it all and come home big winners. It's a great day for Ryko, and they dominated, just like we talked about. The cream rises to the top, and the class of the field showed out there at the end.
Didn't take long. I'll tell you what here, while they continue to burn it out, wow, that was a quick park for Daniel Eberhardt. Doesn't look like he wants to really celebrate anymore. But we are going to take a break here to see if we can get you top 3. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
You got Larry McDonald in 16th, Mike Davenport there in 17th, Donnie Lyons in 18th, Curtis Rogers in 19th, Nashville Bill in 20th, and you got Ron Morris Jr. in 21st, Ryan Broussard in 22nd, last car in the lead lap, and then cars lap. You got Nicholas Warner in P23, Darius Sells in 24th, Jeremy Osborne 25th, Mark Mondell, last car 1 lap down. In 26th, Cole Wright, Bill Miller, Michael Triscaro, Michael Edens. And you got John Mollahan and Sean Hill, who had to disconnect. He was running up front all day, just had the computer issues, looks like.
And I just realized that I was actually muted, so real quick, we'll go over your top 15. As you guys heard, Matthew Baker go over 15 through 30th, so I apologize for that. But 14th was going to be J.R. Miller, 13th Vicente Guerrero, 12th Kenneth Stamper, 11th Danny Eshelman, 10th James Kaufman, 9th Josh Bonwell, 8th Chad Ross, 7th Steve Korsak, 6th Zachary Lima, 5th John Ellis Jr., 4th Dylan Jones, 3rd Garrett Maines, 2nd Jason Maines, and 1st Daniel Eberhardt. And come to think of it, maybe I did go over it. I don't know, man. The first time doing this with a couple guys, a little bit more to keep track of. Either way, let's go check on your top 3 post-race interviews.
And I'm here with your third place finisher, Garrett Maines, Gary Austin, and Matt. And up in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Well, I said it in the beginning of the race. As soon as I saw you guys didn't qualify, I knew it was going to be a couple fuel stops before you guys got up front. And once you guys got up front, you didn't relinquish the lead. Looked like a 1-5 finish there with the Alliance. Don't know if you were working with Daniel or not, but you're pushing them really well there coming to the line.
Yeah, I actually got in here about 5 seconds too late to put down a lap in quali, so we all didn't end up going to the front. We were just like trying to stay out of trouble because there was no fast repair. You just kind of had to play your cards right, and we got a good pit stop there, and we're able to get out front. And then it kind of fell our way. Going green was what we wanted, and we were in position there to the end. And I really did not expect to get hot coming off of 4. I was very glad to be able to get back to Eberhard's bumper though, because I would have felt bad. I told him, I was like, I just got hot and I backed off so I wouldn't like blow it up coming to the line. And then I'm like, oh, it looks like I'm just giving it to my dad. Let me get back to his bumper like as hard as possible. It was enough of a shot to get him back out front. So it was cool. I was glad we were able to get that done, and that was a good finish for us.
Yeah, it was great. It looked like you were going to have a chance to clear up and have Jason push you around Eberhard there and maybe steal the win there down the back, but it looked like it was just a little bit too late to get clear up. But any sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body, Lennox, Cover Seal, FGR Excel, Bucked Up, and all the guys at Ryko and Victory One for all their support. We've had fast cars all season, so hopefully we can make one stick one of these times running up front.
And that's your third place finisher, Garrett Maines. Thanks, man. And on to your second place finisher, Jason Maines. Jason, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jason, you guys were running up front there at the end. It looked like great teamwork as usual. Anybody you work with, the teammates, the teamwork's going to be on point, and you guys are going to fly around. Just like I was watching the Road to Pro race with you and Dylan, it looked like it didn't work out there at the end, but you guys were flying all race. So it looked like that translated over into this race. How did you guys get it done today?
Doing something different than I did in the last one. I botted the last one and wrecked Mr. Lamp. That was completely 100% my fault, and didn't want to do that again. Felt bad about it. We had a good race going on that race, and I just used my tires up too much and didn't want to hold up Dylan and Caleb and that, so I just moved over and let them go because I'm doing it for fun. Got in here, and like I said, you know how it is when we work together. It's it's all about learning everybody's style and where they're going to be on the track. You and I've had a lot of success doing that. And it paid off. We were working with Eberhard and Ellis, Garrett, myself, and Jones, and a lot of fun. Executed well, and as well as I do, if you execute, you got a chance at winning. If you don't, you got a bigger chance of losing.
Yeah, and it looked like the Dale Cup boys didn't play as aggressive as I thought they were going to, but Ellis did a great job going up to the third lane, stalling out whatever run was going to be coming towards the line, and it really sealed y'all's fate there, 2x2 coming to the line. Just not enough to get the job done over Eberhard, but overall a great finish for you guys. And any sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Everything we do is for Him. That's why we're here. I got to thank NCU Body, Lennox Industries, Bradley Mechanical for their support, and Ryko. Haven't get the finishes that that they deserve, but having fun with it, and that's why I'm in here. And yeah, as well as I do, it doesn't matter to me whether I win. We worked, we executed, and it doesn't matter who takes first place. So a lot of fun. So congrats to Daniel and everybody else.
Yeah, and thanks for talking to us. That's your second place finisher, Jason Maines.
Thanks, Baker.
All right, and let's move on to your winner tonight. That would be Daniel Eberhard. Daniel, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, heck of a rebound here. Didn't have Dylan Jones, your main teammate, behind you. He was actually the guy pushing Jason Maines, the guy that you were trying to fight for the win there right at the end, but you were able to hold him off. What were you thinking there once you made that move a couple laps before the finish where you dropped down?
It's all about setting yourself up, and we had a bunch of teammates, so it was easy to do that. I kind of got told to move down, but I knew that it was the smartest thing to do, just because you didn't know where the run was going to come up from the top or the middle. So, and I had somebody good behind me that could push me, and I knew, and I could hold a steady wheel, and I knew he could keep it right there on me and Garrett. So, thank you for all their help, and held the whole Ryko Ford F-150 up there rolling.
Would certainly look fast. Good job on the dominating win tonight, especially late in the going. We saw you play strategy earlier. But before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank my amazing wife who lets me do this every single weekday, including a Sunday. So thank you to her. Thank you to Ryko Performance. Thank you to the team, and thank you to all you guys for putting this on. And without God, none of this would be possible. So thank you to him every single day. And I wake up each morning with a smile on my face. So, and that's about it.
All right, sounds good. Well, again, one more congratulations to your race winner tonight, Daniel Everhart in the 90 truck. And that is just about going to wrap up coverage for us. But before we go, Baker, any last notes or comments?
Well, you know, teamwork makes the dream work, and it happened for sure tonight. And just thanks for letting.
Well, we appreciate having you. We actually had a couple things in the chat. Go over them real quick here. Looks like Cody was in here rooting on Dale Cup. Looks like Baker's mom, which, of course, she was in here rooting you on. And it looks like she did say at the end, sounds bad, not sure to what. She had said good broadcast before they'll figure it out. Either way, though, we thank everybody for coming out. Hopefully everybody did enjoy. And quick reminder that next place Ghost Racing Network heads is going to be the Big Dash for Cash for St. Patrick's Day. That is going to be tomorrow over at Jimmy Crow Money Racing. It's going to be a 31-lap feature, but there are going to be 2 10-lap heat races. A lot of money on the line, over $2,700 worth of cash, so don't miss out on it. We will see you then. Until next time.